Good morning, students. Last week, in our last class, we have studied how to measure the fundamental quantity length, and we have to study the next two quantities, mass and time. So before that, we are going to study what is the application of measuring length. So if can you tell me one application of measuring length? There are so many things. Tell me one thing. Yes, volume. We are able to measure volume, area, etc. etc. Yes. So, what is the formula for area? Area of the solid or area of a rectangle. Can you tell area of a rectangle? Can you tell me the area of a rectangle? Is equal to area of a rectangle equal to length into breadth. Very good. This is also a distance between 2 points. This is also a distance between 2 points. Yes. So if you are taking a rectangle like this, the length is, we are able to take the length as like this. Yes. And the breadth is, so length into breadth. It will give area equal to, this will give what? Area of the rectangle. Therefore, we are able to measure area of the rectangle using that application of measurement of length, fundamental quantity length. Similarly, we are able to measure the volume also. Volume of solids, liquids and gases. Okay. So, volume of solid. We are going to find out the volume of solids using the measurement of length. So, for that let us consider a cube. Okay. Let us consider a cube. Can you tell me the length, breadth and height? Yes, this is the length and this is the breadth or width and this is the height. So, using these dimensions, we are able to calculate the volume. Volume is equal to length into breadth into height. Yes, therefore, this is also a type of distance. This is also a type of distance. This is also a type of distance. So, volume of solids is equal to length into breadth into height. That you will get a value if we are considering this as 1 centimeter. 1 centimeter length. This is a cube, no? So, all the sides will be equal. 1 centimeter in length, 1 centimeter in breadth and 1 centimeter in height. Then what you will get? 1 into 1 into 1. What is this? 1 into 1 into 1 centimeter, no? So 1 centimeter into 1 centimeter into 1 centimeter. What you will get? 1 into 1 into 1 is 1. 1 centimeter cube or 1 cubic centimeter. Are you able to understand? 1 cubic centimeter. So, this is one of the application of that measurement of length, fundamental quantity. These volume and area are derived quantities because they are expressed in fundamental quantities. They are expressed using the fundamental quantity length. That is length into breadth. Breadth is also a type of length that we are measuring using scale. So, these area and volume are derived quantities and they are expressed in fundamental quantities. Okay. So, this is one of the application of measuring length. Yes. Dear students, next we are going to study how to measure the volume of liquids. It's simply very easy. It is very easy because liquids are not having any shape. So they are taking the shape of the container in which we are keeping. So we are able to measure them by using such type of graduated cylinder or beakers with graduations or conical flask with graduations. So we are able to see that we have to take the liquid. For example, if we take and fill this with water for 150 ml means this is in ml. So graduated in ml 150 means now it is equal to the water volume of water taken in this graduated cylinder is nothing but 150 milliliter. how to find its volume means, see, for this liquid 1 milliliter equal to 1 centimeter cube. So how to express it in centimeter cube? This value 1 milliliter equal to 1 centimeter cube means 150 milliliter will be equal to 150 centimeter cube. So in this way we are able to measure the volume of liquids very easily by taking this graduated cylinder, beaker or conical flask. And how to find the volume of irregular objects? If there is regular object means we are able to find very easily that length into breadth into height. Yes, regular objects for what is it, cube and all. But if we are taking some irregular objects like stone and all, we are unable to find it directly. The length, breadth and height are for measuring them are very difficult for us. So we are able to measure them by using this measuring jar and some water. Okay. So let me tell how to measure this volume of irregular objects using this graduated cylinders. Now you see, let us consider a stone. This is the stone. Let us consider stone. This is the irregular object. Irregular object for which we have to find the volume. Okay. For that you are taking water in a cylinder and not a graduated cylinder, and let us consider 75 ml or 50 ml of water is there. I am taking 50 ml of water. Okay, 50 ml of water in this graduated cylinder. Now what I am going to do is I am tying a thread here, twine here, and I am making this to immerse in this graduated cylinder. Let us consider this cylinder now. So this stone is now immersed here. Okay, immersed here, and what will happen? How much weight is here is immersed, that much water will be displaced. Yes, displaced above. So now let us consider that this 50 ml water, and up to 50 ml there is water. Now when we immerse this irregular object stone inside this water, the water level will be rising to, let us consider, up to 75 ml. Okay, let us consider up to 75 ml. So while dipping this or immersing this irregular object stone inside the water, the level of water rises to 75 ml. Now how to calculate this volume of this irregular object stone? So what is the final measurement of water level? 75 ml. Therefore 75 ml minus what is the original level of water? 50 milliliter. Therefore 75 milliliter minus 50 milliliter will be giving, what is the answer? 25 milliliter. So this 25 milliliter have to be converted to centimeter cube. Already I told 1 milliliter is equal to 1 centimeter cube. Therefore we can write this as equal to 25 centimeter cube. So from this we are able to understood that the volume of that irregular object stone is how much? 25 centimeter cube. So volume of this irregular stone is equal to 25 centimeter cube. So have you all understood, my dear students? 25 centimeter cube. So this stone is the irregular object. So we can calculate the volume. Volume is equal to 25 centimeter cube. So in this way we are able to calculate or find out the volume of any irregular object using a measuring jar or graduated cylinder. Able to understand? Yes. Dear student, next we are going to study the measurement of mass. It is the next fundamental quantity. So in measurement of mass, first of all we should know what is mass. Yes, mass. What is mass? It is the amount of matter contained in an object. amount of matter contained in an object or amount of matter in a present in a body. Okay, that's called measurement of mass. And we can write this unit of mass as what? Kilogram. Okay, so while going to some shops and all, we are getting things in what? Kilogram, gram, then milligram, etc. No, in these units we are getting, that is measurement of mass. But you see students, this mass and weight are not the same. Okay, so weight is different. What is weight? Can you tell what is weight? It is nothing but the gravitational pull acting on an object. Gravitational pull acting on an object is called what? Weight. And weight and mass are different, and weight is equal to mass into that gravity. Gravity acting. Gravity means acceleration due to gravity, that is 9.8 meter per second. Okay. So if we multiply that mass with this 9.8, then only we will get what? Weight. So weight is nothing but it is a gravitational pull, and its unit is Newton. Newton. Okay, Newton. So the unit of mass is kilogram and the unit of weight is Newton. Okay, so you should not confuse with this mass and weight. So if you want to buy anything, we are going to the shop and getting it by telling the mass only. Okay, how many kilogram? 1 kilogram or 2 kilogram, like that. So now can you say some measuring things for measuring mass? Tell me. Yes, very good. Beam balance, electronic balance, etc., etc. So what are all the things we are able to measure with that? Beam balance. Beam balance. Can you remember how they are measuring in beam balance? Yes. In one pan they are keeping a standard mass, and in other pan they are putting the things what we need. Rice or sugar or the things, and putting it and measuring it and giving. Yes. So according to the standard mass, they are according to the with reference to that standard mass, they are measuring things. Yes. So this is about measurement of mass. So beam balance, electronic balance, digital balance, digital or electronic balance. In digital or electronic balance, it is very easy for us to measure. It shows the accurate reading. Yes, accurate reading is shown by it. And so in jewelry shops also, they are using simple digital balance. In labs, what are the balance are used? Physics and chemistry lab. Physical balance and chemical balances are used. Okay. Are you able to understand what are the balances used? Yes. Okay. Dear students, next we are going to study about the measurement of time. Time is the next fundamental quantity we are going to study. So in olden days, there is no instruments to measure time. Yes, do you know how people measure their time? Day changes into night, night into day, day into night. Like that, days are going, seasons are changing, time passes away, and seasons also changes. And people wants to measure time. How they measure in earlier day? Can you tell? Very good. Using this sand clock. Then what are the other things? Water clock. Before sand clock and water clock, what they are using? Sundial. Okay. So sundial. So using this shadow. How the shadows are moving. Yes. Shadows formation. Formation of shadows, and they use some towers or some buildings for their reference, and using the formation of shadows they used to tell time. Okay, in olden days. And they used sundial, then used sand clock, and they will make the sand clock like this, and the sand will flow slowly, and when it comes fully and fall into it, they will call it 1 hour, and then they will keep this sand clock upside down, and the same thing will happen. But these are all very difficult, yes, to find. So nowadays how we are measuring time? Using quartz clocks, then watches. All these are having quartz crystals in it, and these crystals have some effect, that is the piezoelectric effect, which you will be studying in your higher classes. And with that effect, it has the hands of the clock and watches will move, and in such that we are able to find the standard time. Yes, there are atomic clocks also nowadays, and it gives no error. So in this way we are able to measure time. Okay, so in our class, in measurements, we have studied what are the things we have studied. Measurement of length, mass and time, some of the fundamental quantities, and the other fundamental quantities you will be studying the measurements of other fundamental quantities in your higher classes. And this in 6th standard you have studied about measurement of length, time and mass. Okay, I think all the students have understood. So students, if you are having any doubt, feel free to ask to me in my personal number. Okay, and study these portions and I will give you notes. Yes, thank you.